fair to say. Just the 1 over, none for 16. In place of Mohamed Sanut, who had a really poor day, I think it would be fair to say. Just the 1 over, none for 16. So it's the clash of the neutrals, but it is the clash at the top of the table. We had our team out earlier this morning, and there's Xavier Marshall. The dashing red locks on top. Big smile for Stephen Taylor. He'll be looking to get some runs. Madank Patel, the American top order, has been short of runs. See me there having a chat to Rusty Theron as well. But it really is a beautiful morning, and interim head coach James Pamment is going to be looking for a win. His side will want to win to claw the gap back on Oman at the top of the table. They are none from 2 this week. Oman 3 from 3. What about Oman? There's big Kali Mullah. And they're a side that has got the winning feeling at the moment. And as you can see, come in there, give me a hug. They can't stop winning at the moment. And that's the star man this week so far for me, Mohamed Nadeem. Bat and ball, he's done it all. So there's the two sides. Duleep Mendes, the head coach of Oman, getting things done. And I've got Peter Della Penna joining me in the commentary box again. Peter, great to have you with us, the ESPN Cricinfo journalist. What do you make of the 211s?
Misark Patel on the card there is slotted at number 8. I would not be surprised to see him opening the batting with Xavier Marshall. He's somebody who wears many hats for USA. He's got quality left-arm spin. He's a roving batsman. He's opened for USA before in the past. At the current time, he bats generally in the middle order, but with Aaron Jones struggling since the start of the series with that surprise promotion to open the batting, Aaron Jones is so much more comfortable in the middle order. And I would not be surprised to see Nisarg bumped up to open and have Aaron Jones come back down to 4, Monarchs pushed back down to 5, and then on the Oman side, Badal Singh coming in as a left-arm spinner. Bumped adds to that test that USA has not stood up to so far in the series. Another spin test they'll face today to try and get back even with Oman on the points table. Pushed back down to 5, and then on the Oman side, Badal Singh coming in as a left-arm spinner. Bump one over there. Adds to that test that USA has not stood up to so far in the series. Another spin test they'll face today to try and get back even with Oman on the points table.
That USA need to
push back down to 5, and then on the Oman side, Badal Singh coming in as a left-arm spinner. They've lost 3 in a row now. They're desperate for some momentum. Aaron Jones to so far in the series, this tri-series, heading into their next home tri-series, which is going to be in April on Florida, with that unbalanced schedule. And then on the ball side, playing the first 4 tri-series, will actually wind up playing in 3 out of the next 4. Lost 3 in a row now. They're desperate for some momentum. Aaron Jones to so far in the series, this tri-series, but USA doing their best to keep pace with Oman now, who are currently at the top of the table.
Yeah, big hello from us up in the commentary box. You can see it is still a little bit cold. Early starts 9:30 a.m. local time, and that, I think, is why Captain Sarav Netravalkar has decided to bowl first. He's going to try and use that pace battery. We saw so impressive Cameron Stevenson, who missed the first game, brought into the team for the second match. He was probably the star man, 3 for 30 from his 10 overs.
And that was the 4th ODI in a row for Cameron Stevenson that he's taken 3 wickets in his spell. He's been a very dynamic presence for USA. It just adds that little bit of extra pace that they have been missing since Ali Khan has made himself unavailable for selection, pursuing franchise T20 cricket opportunities. And Cameron Stevenson's so dynamic. You can see Nash Kenjige, who took that fantastic catch as a subfielder in the last match. He's working some throwdowns for some slip catching practice with Ian Holland and Aaron Jones.
Let me ask you about Ali Khan. We've had a lot of fans sending in their tweets to us, and might get to read a few of those later on this afternoon, but a lot of them are asking, why in the name of God is Ali Khan not in the starting 11? Why is he not in the squad? There's the 2 umpires, Durga Sabedi and Buddy Pradhan, the 2 local Nepal umpires. The 3rd umpire today will be umpire Shamshuddin from India. But why is Ali Khan not here?
Well, there's a book out recently that might have some answers to that, Lenny. But the short version, to try and capitalize on his skill set as a T20 specialist. That's how he views himself now. And I think perhaps we might see him re-enter the USA squad when it comes to T20 World Cup qualifying for the 2021 cycle. But in terms of ODI cricket, in my discussions with him, he wants to preserve his body and not go through the wear and tear of ODI cricket for USA. And that's part of the reason why he's not here on this tour.
That's the Team USA huddle. They're all ready to go, and Sarab Netravalkar, as he loves to do, runs onto the playing field. USA looking to bounce back. They've had a disappointing week, and there's the two Omani openers, Jatinder Singh and Karar Ali. They were a little bit better the other day against Nepal, but it's really been the Oman middle order that's shone. Mohammad Nadeem and, of course, the main man, Aqib Ilyas, the leading run scorer in the tournament, the first ever Omani to make an ODI century.
And he's been traditionally a thorn in the side of USA over the years. He scored a century against USA on home soil in Oman back in 2018. Half century against USA in Uganda, Division 3 in 2017. And then another half century here against USA. And then progressively became a thorn in the side of Nepal as well, scoring the century, Lenny, as you said. So he's quite difficult to get out. And for those who are of the opinion that Oman is bringing in all these ringers from outside and pumping them up and unable to produce local players, you can't say that about Aqib Ilyas, and you can't say that about the man on screen, Jatinder Singh. These two guys have come up through the Oman under-19 system. They've been developed locally. They've basically lived most of their lives in Oman as kids growing up. I think Aqib Ilyas, from the age of 6, has been in Oman. So there are definitely efforts being made to develop cricket in Oman, and these two batsmen are definitely the fruits of that.
It's going to be the Team USA captain, Captain America, as he was so famously dubbed after USA gained ODI status, to open the bowling from the pavilion end. Sarab Netravalkar with his left arm seam. It's Game 5, Men's Cricket World Cup League 2. So in terms of the wicket we're playing on here, we heard Binod Das talking about it earlier, but we've come over to the furthest of the 3 wickets in play on the left of your screen as you look at them from behind the bowler's arm. From this end, there's Jatinder Singh, big smile on his face. So we'll have a shorter boundary on one side.
This is the exact same wicket that USA and Oman played on the first time they faced off against each other.
As we've seen so often with Oman mix-up running between the wickets, it's the one area they've been really poor the entire week. Something no doubt Dooley Mendes will be trying to correct. But I think we had 4, if not 5, potential chances for a run-out in the first clash between these two sides.
And yet none of them were converted, Lenny. As bad as the running has been between the wickets, or the confusion between the wickets between Oman, USA has been unable to capitalize on it. So big chance with Karar Ali early that Monank Patel missed.
Netravalkar so frugal this week. Has been really impressive. But he's got to try and find some early movement to get the early breakthrough.
And this is why, going back to the previous encounter, I wanted him to open the bowling. He did not. It was that last match against Nepal. It was Elmore Hutchinson who opened the bowling, and I really thought he wasted the new ball. Sarab Netravalkar gets a lot more movement in the air and off the pitch than Elmore Hutchinson does.
Good tight stuff this from Netravalkar. We've seen Rusty Theron gain probably the more prodigious movement of the opening options so far for USA. Would you imagine he'll take the new ball from the far end?
It's definitely the way to go this morning, and you'll see Cameron Stevenson come on as a first change bowler. But in terms of the opening options, it's definitely Rusty Theron. I think has been USA's best bowler overall. Might not show it necessarily in the wickets, but the amount of times he's challenged the outside edge, his consistency, coming back again at the death as well, he's been fantastic.
Watchful start this from Jatinder Singh, and perhaps Oman trying to take a leaf out of the Nepal copybook, where they just got through, survived those first 10 overs the other day against Oman. I think they were only 22 for none. They then went on to post a formidable 249. I thought they were going to defend that, Peter. Their bowlers just couldn't quite get it right, and Oman, the masters of the chase, continued their outstanding record, batting second. The first runs of the day are going to come through the offside, no more than a press into the offside, and it's going to run all the way for 4. Lovely timing from Jatinder Singh. A real textbook cover drive.
कुनै पनि निर्माणमा सबै निर्माण सामग्रीको आफ्नै महत्व हुन्छ। त्यसैले युनाइटेड सिमेन्टले सबैलाई समेट्दै भन्छौं, अब जुट्ने बेला हो।
So it will be Rusty Theron, as Peter and I both thought it might be, coming in from the Chobar end. He'll be bowling to Kawarali, the all-rounder. Hasn't got the wickets that he'd have liked this week, the leg spinning all-rounder, but he's looked in good touch with the bat. 40 odd against Nepal in the last game. See straight away a little bit of shape from Rusty Theron, but just not quite getting his line right, so Kawarali's away.
It's too easy on the legs. Or Kawa to get off strike. Rusty though, probably got about 2 years of good cricket left for USA. He's in his mid-30s now. He's got a history of knee issues that forced him to retire prematurely from South Africa, but now trying to resurrect his career with USA.
Generally tends to try and take the ball away from the right-handers. Just a little bit of movement, nothing too extravagant so far this morning. Jatinder Singh wants the sight screen just adjusted a touch.
And one of the amazing things about Rusty Theron, the amount of movement he gets and the pace he generates, which is still in the low 80s. It's more of a slow jog amble into the crease, but he still is clever enough to roll his fingers over the seam to get that movement.
Jatinder Singh happy to be watchful. Both of the opening bowlers really, Peter, they kind of amble in off short run-ups and then generate a lot of their pace and trajectory kind of through the shoulder as opposed to through the run-up.
Well, Saurabh is quite sturdily built, but Rusty looks more like an ox.
It's a good length from Theron, and you only really realise it when you stand down next to Rusty Theron, just how big an individual he is. 6'3" probably.
He looks like he could double or triple as either a nightclub bouncer or a rugby player for the Americans watching back home. A middle linebacker. He's now living in San Francisco. If cricket doesn't work out, maybe he can have a word with Parag Marathe, the chairman of USA Cricket, who's also an executive with the San Francisco 49ers. Maybe he can have a brief trial with them if they're short of backup support in the middle linebacker, outside linebacker position.
Short ball, half an appeal from Akshay Homraj, beats the attempted hook shot of Jatinder Singh. Yeah, the San Francisco 49ers, the Super Bowl runners up this year, falling short to the Kansas City Chiefs. Good short ball this from Rusty Theron.
And again, he's not bowling quick, but a lot of his bounces that he does bowl, they're so well directed. He's very accurate with that bouncer. So even though it's not genuinely quick, he does trouble batsmen more than you think with it.
Kareem Agor, backward point. Probably one of the outstanding fielders of the tournament. 2 overs gone, it's 5 for none.
को शक्तिशाली आधार SR स्टील कुनै पनि निर्माणमा सबै निर्माण सामग्रीको आफ्नै महत्व हुन्छ। त्यसैले युनाइटेड सिमेन्टले सबैलाई समेट्दै भन्छौं अब जुट्ने बेला हो।
Skyward refrigerators, lively and fresh every day.
विकास सम्भव छ मजबुत निर्माणले। मजबुत निर्माण बन्छ अम्बे स्टिल्सले। अम्बे स्टिल्स जे बन्छ दिगो बन्छ।
विश्वासितै अघि बढ्दै मेगा बैंक नेपाल लिमिटेड।
Oman happy to be watchful so far. They've been the real form side in this tri-series. What have your thoughts been on the tri-series as a whole between these three teams?
Well, it always makes for a great occasion when you've got 7,000-8,000 people consistently showing up, as has been the case for the Nepal matches. A little bit more subdued atmosphere when USA and Oman have been playing, but still some people trickling in throughout the day.
What have you taken from the week? I suppose the standout performances of Akib Ilyas and Mohamed Nadeem for Oman, but what about America and Nepal?
Ian Holland, hands down, has been USA's best player throughout the week. When really nobody else has shown up with the bat, he's been in some ways more impressive than Akib Ilyas, because Akib has at least gotten some support. Zishan Maksud has been fine with the bat. Karawali's made some nuggety contributions, but there's really been nobody to support Ian Holland.
Driven down the ground, just gets his right hand out to save any runs. Netravalkar.
That 75 that Ian Holland scored against Nepal, if he had gone on to make a century, and it would have been in a winning effort if he had crossed 100 and stuck there to the end, I think it would have been one of the finest hundreds for any batsman in USA in history in the context of the circumstances. Fortunately, he wasn't able to carry on, but effort if he had crossed 100. He's really been head and shoulders over everybody else for USA. And then for Nepal, Kushal Malla, the 15-year-old. What a star in the making he is.
Yeah, not just with the bat, but with the ball as well. Arguably one of Nepal's best bowlers. A few comments online, some people disappointed with the impact of Sandeep Lamachani. They thought that he'd be running through sides here. He'll have another chance tomorrow with USA Nepal.
I think sometimes people forget that when you come up against a ball like that, the batsmen get amped up. And they see it as a challenge, and they almost steel themselves mentally to heighten their skills to match up to somebody like Lamachani. They don't want to get out to him. And they want to be able to prove themselves against somebody of his quality. I've seen that happen with Ali Khan within the Americas. When Ali Khan came up against Canada and North Carolina in 2018 in the T20 qualifier, his stats were quite poor, actually. And part of that was because the Canada players really got excited to rise up to facing him.
Good tight stuff from Netravalkar. It's a maiden, the first one of the day. 5 for none after 3.
मेरो सीपलाई बुझ्ला कसले मेरो जाँगरलाई अनुभव गर्ला कसले सानो व्यवसायमा नै सीमित मेरो कर्मलाई व्यापारमा परिवर्तन गर्न साथ देला कसले यी प्रश्नहरूको जवाब तब पाए जब मैले सिद्धार्थ बैंकको साथ पाएँ कर्मशील उद्यमीहरूको लागि सिद्धार्थ बैंकको सरल एसएमई कर्जा अब पूरा हुनेछन् तपाईका सपनाहरू सिद्धार्थ बैंक सम्बन्ध सधैँभरिलाई
सनफ्लो शुद्ध सनफ्लावर तेलको खरिदमा प्याकेटमा प्राप्त युनिकोडलाई 31008 मा एसएमएस गरी लकी ड्र मार्फत जित्नुहोस्। हरेक 15 दिनमा हिराको लगेज, हिराको टप र हिराको
Good from Theron, just getting the ball right up towards the V of the bat of Jatinder Singh.
Going back to the point of the last over, too, I think sometimes people get spoiled thinking that just because a guy has played around the world in franchise cricket and is considered an elite bowler, There's almost an expectation that he's just going to run through sides and take 5 wickets every single match at associate level. It doesn't work like that. Associate cricket batting has grown leaps and bounds.
Into the leg side, gonna be straight to Xavier Marshall, who tidies up and keeps it to a single.
And at some stage, you have to give credit to the opposition. It's okay for Oman and USA to score runs sometimes too. It is a batsman's game after all, Lenny.
Yeah, we haven't perhaps seen the weight of run scoring in this entire league that some might have expected. That century from Aki Bilias was the exception to the rule, really.
Waiting. We've seen quite a lot of good batting. Consistently good batting, not transcendent batting, if you will, across a lot of the Tri-Series. The only other innings I can think of that really stands out, like Akib's, was that century by J.P. Kutsa against USA in Florida.
It's a beauty. Beats him, and Akshay Hamraj can't collect. You're going to scanter, trot through for a bye, as you see it signalled there. Best delivery of the morning from Theran.
I mentioned this quite a few times on the previous match. He's standing too far back. Akshay Hamraj, on these pitches, he's been far too deep. He needs to take another step or two forward. And going back to the warm-up match against the President's 11, through these 3 ODIs, he's had a number of fumbles standing back to the medium pacers where the ball is just not carrying, and he's not been able to collect it.
Short ball. The attempted hook shot just not working for Jatinder Singh so far this morning. 4 overs gone. It's 7 for none. In fact, we've got a delivery to come, Peter. Getting excited. 1 delivery left. You can see Rusty Theran causing more problems than Netravalkar so far. That delivery that Karali played and missed at, and the bye was run through away movement through the air, and then seam movement back in towards the stumps. Short ball, and hooked much more impressively this time. He goes for the back-to-back short balls. It's going to be a boundary to end the 4th over. Rolled his wrists on that nicely. Took the aerial route. 4 runs.
And that's another theme we've also seen this week. Unless you've got really express pace, if you bowl short, the ball's just going to sit up. And Karali, not phased one bit, hammering that pole over mid-wicket, 2 bounces over the rope for 4. And Oman 11 for none after 4.
हामी जहाँ जान्छौँ त्यहाँ राजधानी
केवल हाम्रो ठाउँमा राजधानी
राजधानी हाम्रो हो राजधानी
राजधानी हाम्रै हो राजधानी हाम्रै ठाउँमा राजधानी
हाम्रो हो
एक्चुअली राजधानी हाम्रै ठाउँमा आउनुपर्छ
राजधानी हाम्रै ठाउँमा आउनुपर्छ भनेर हुन्छ हाम्रो ठाउँमा हो राजधानी
हेर्नुहोस् तपाईहरु धेरै कुरा नगर्नुहोस्
So Kaurali yet to really get going here. A couple of boundaries for Jatinder Singh. One coming from a short ball. The last ball of that over. Very pleasing hook shot. Singh has been a little bit short of runs by his high standards for Oman in recent times. 10 innings here at Cricket World Cup League 2. He's made just 178, an average of 19. He'll be looking to put that right today. There'll be more runs here this time for Kaurali. Beats Aaron Jones, who'll chase after that. Much longer side of the ground. Really good pace to the ball, and he keeps it to 2. Yeah, we were talking, Peter, just the over prior about the lack of perhaps really high scores in this entire league so far. Just 4 centuries in the 28 matches that have been completed to date. JP Coetzee is 136, as you said, in Florida, the standout, 136. Craig Williams also made 100 against Oman. That was 129 not out. And then it was Aki Bilias's 109 and Masado Avala of Papua New Guinea, the other Centurion. That ball just played out to Ian Holland. They're utilising that slightly funky Field position again, Peter, a sort of catching forward point.
And it almost came off in the previous match, and part of the reason why it didn't come off was because they got tired or frustrated and they took that fielder out just before a ball was driven through that gap. Stephen Taylor at times has been positioned there. Ian Holland is there at the moment.
It so nearly gets towards that position. A brilliant diving stop at backward point though from Kareem Agor. He's outstanding in the field, gets a high five from Ian Holland, and Cameron Stevenson gets over to him as well. Probably the standout fielder on show here, not just in Nepal but in the entire league. Full length dive, quick to the ball, saves at least a couple. Beauty. Beats him outside the off stump. No extravagant movement yet, just that natural angle of the left armour slanting across the right-handed batsman. The first time Netravalkar beats the bat this morning.
The other element that makes him so challenging is the accuracy. It's another thing we didn't see from Hutchinson in the new ball spell the other day. Netravalkar getting a bit more movement, but also his accuracy. He's always on that fourth stump line, teasing batsmen into playing the ball a lot more than Hutchinson was, where they were leaving a lot of deliveries alone.
Edged. And probably, perhaps just short of Stephen Taylor. Peter Della Penna thinks it might have been a drop. Could only get his left hand to it. We'll see on the replay whether it carried very close.
I think, again, this is a consequence of actually Homeraj standing too deep. If he's up more, Stephen Taylor is going to be up closer at slip. This one definitely carried. He got his left hand to it. Moving left, and again, Homeraj, his keeping. He really should be moving to his right for that ball if his footwork is okay. Instead, chance goes down. Oman 14 for no loss after 5.
Skyward Air Conditioners. Your air, we care.
विकास संभव छ मजबुत निर्माणले मजबुत निर्माण बन्छ अम्बे स्टिल्सले अम्बे स्टिल्स जे बन्छ दिगो बन्छ
Action!
Good tight stuff from the two American openers, but I think we've just seen the first chance go down of the morning. A really difficult one for Stephen Taylor at first slip. This is the best angle, Peter.
Again, I think if Homeraj is closer, standing up closer to the stumps, that one's going to carry to Stephen at about knee height. Instead, because Homeraj sets the tone by standing as deep as he is as the keeper, Stephen Taylor is jointly standing too far back as well. If Taylor is a bit closer and Homeraj is a bit closer, that's going to go to him at knee height, be a much easier chance, or not as difficult a chance at slip to try and latch onto. Instead, it's around his ankles, reaching low to his left. It's always going to be much, much harder, and that's why he went down.
We've seen Stephen Taylor take an absolute screamer off Sarah Netravalkar already this week at first slip. And that was one that really hurried through and he took above his head. This one much lower. Really good effort from Taylor. He's got an outstanding pair of hands.
He took a sharp catch, as you said earlier, in this tri-series. Took a phenomenal catch, one-handed catch off of, I believe it was Cameron Stevenson in the UAE tri-series. One of the last two matches in Dubai. The ICC Academy. He's always been a fantastic catching fielder wherever he's been on the field for USA. Backward point in the covers, on the boundary, long on, long off in the slog overs.
Down the leg side this time. Thuram looking for that magic ball with his away movement. And we've spoken about how frugal the American seamers have been. As we see Thuram just really looking for the leg stump Yorker. Straight down the leg side. If we look at the entire league series, Sarah Netravalkar, if we put a cap as 20 overs for a minimum, Netravalkar is the most economical bowler of the lot. 3.2 over the course of 11 matches. A few of the other USA bowlers up there as well. Kareem Agor, economy of just 3.73, and Cameron Stevenson 4.36. But it's really Netravalkar just so tight with his left arm seam.
And Netravalkar really has bowled way more overs than anybody else in that top 10. So it's a consistency over a long period.
Interesting to see as well, Timul Patel right up there, economy rate of 3.27, smaller sample as he only bowled about 30 overs. Surprised to not see Timul Patel with his leg breaks and his all-round batting in the team?
Well, on this tour in particular, even though he's taken quite a lot of wickets, I actually think he's more valuable in these conditions for his batting. Seen him float up and down the order for USA over the years. For Gujarat, was consistently a middle order presence, batting against spin in Gujarat. Over 30-plus match career in first-class cricket. If they put him in right behind Ian Holland, I think that would have been a positive move.
So just the wide from that over. One run coming from it. It's 15 for none after 6.
राजीव दाइ पैसा पठाउनु पर्ने थियो मोबाइल ब्याङ्किङ एक्टिभ गर्न ब्याङ्कै जानु भएको छैन भने